We'll see. Two names I'm going to throw at you just because they are being mentioned in the comments, which I am trying to keep an eye on every so often. That one of them is probably more realistic than the other. The first one is Stiller, and a lot of people like him. And then, as ever, they'll be pointing out strengths and weaknesses. And the other is more of an aspirational kind of a get, I think, in Adam Wharton. Could you just maybe speak about both of those and what you see as their strengths?
I can't give you a lot on Stiller, to be fair, Trevor. I wouldn't be in a position to think I've seen enough to feel comfortable one way or the other.
Sure.
But the other boy, Trevor, all day long. Adam Wharton, what a player he is. And I have to say that I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of ex-pros. And we always, you always like to talk about the next one, don't you? Who's the next one? And I still talk to ex-pros who go, I'm not sure about him. Adam Wharton, they go, I'm not sure about him. And I go, wow. I just see a kid that's destined for the top. He's got a unique way in how he plays. He's got a little bit of everything. He might lack a bit of pace off the mark, yeah? But his ability to read the game negates that, and the passes that he sees, and the fact that he's also gives a nice balance with his left foot and whatever. So that boy is a top player. What a spot that was by Crystal Palace. I remember when they signed him in January 2024, and I was actually doing deadline day for Danish TV, and we were doing a top 5 signings on that day, and I went, please. You got to put this kid in. And they go, well, who's he? If Blackburn, I said, for Aston Villa to pay that type of money for a player from the Championship, that's because they are sure. I said, and I've seen him. I'd only seen him play twice, but some players you don't need to see 100 times, do you, Trevor? Some players you just need to see, and you go, whoa. But I will make sure that I know everything about Stiller next week. I'll have a little look at it. But I haven't done my homework.
The received wisdom is that he's very good from the passing point of view, but that if people are looking for him to be this midfield destroyer, blocking passing lanes, doing the monster Fabinho stuff, that he's not that guy. So it's going to be interesting. And again, I'm repeating other people's opinions there. I haven't seen enough of them either. We should finish off with a little bit of a look ahead to what's coming up, which is obviously next up a guard of honor from Arsenal after their exit from the Champions League. In the wake of some really interesting and sort of semi-delusional comments from their manager, he just seems to have lost the plot a little bit. Certainly seems to have a kind of victim complex going on at the moment when it comes to the injuries and how much everything has gone against them. And it seems to have seeped into the players' mindset as well, because we saw Declan Rice echoing exactly the same thing. I suppose what I'm building up to is it's a weird one now, isn't it? That we've got them at the weekend. We had such a lackluster outing the last time that we'd like to think we'll be back with a stronger team, and really kind of reminding Arsenal that they were never really in a Premier League race with us at all, by way of a good performance and a victory. And you kind of wonder where their heads are going to be at. It'd be quite hard to get back up off the floor, seeing the Premier League, slip away, and then going out like they did in the semi-final of the Champions League. It's going to be interesting to see where their brains are on Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it won't be everything in terms of Arteta and Arsenal going forward. But there will be a lot of disappointment they have to deal with. And I don't know this, but they do have some top players, Trevor. They have some really good players who might also be looking at it. We spoke about Alexander Isak before, and how you perceive yourself and, where you should be. So that's really interesting in terms of how you keep motivating yourself and keep giving it everything. And in terms of Mikel Arteta, I mean, the things he says, Trevor, publicly, It's the kind of things I used to say privately when I was a manager, because when you talk to your backroom staff, you talk to the players, and you kind of make excuses, don't you? You go, well, this, that, whatever. But when you front up to the media, you put your big boy pants on, don't you? And you go, it is what it is, isn't it? And we try and get on with it. So in terms of the game on Sunday, I just think that Mikel Arteta has an uncanny ability to rub people up the wrong way. And I think there's every chance he might do that on Sunday. That might actually kick the game off, because they've got nothing to play for. Okay, they haven't qualified for the top 5, but they've got Southampton to play. And if they beat Southampton, they will be in the top 5. We've got nothing to play for. But it wouldn't surprise me if Mikel Arteta somehow just gets the game going by whatever he gets up to on the touchline. I actually thought they were a little bit unlucky against PSG. The goalkeeper played really well for PSG, although it was a little simple, the football, wasn't it? 11 long throw-ins and whatever, and that was kind of what they had. So I don't know. No doubt that we'll be stronger than we were at Chelsea. Some of the big boys that was rested will be back in. What that means, who knows?
Well, the whole idea of what was put out there was, rewarding these squad players and fringe players and lads who didn't get much time. And then you saw the team and you were sort of not sure about that midfield. So most of those guys are going to be back. And assuming we have Mac and Gravenberch and Dom in there in the middle, going pretty strong up top as well, and having a functional back four, you'd like to think we have every chance of doing a job on them. But from a psychological point of view, this fascinates me. And again, you're in a great position to be able to answer this one for us. It must be really hard not to be what's the cliche, on the beach when you've got the thing wrapped up. It's hard to find that extra level of, go-to energy. And we saw that in the last game to an extent, although I think on a different day it could have gone differently. And they really did just want it more, and they really had more on the line than we did. I was disappointing, but in the context of a week where you've been celebrating, blah, blah, I think professional pride kicks back in now, I would imagine. But I'm only imagining. You've lived this. What is the mindset when the league is in the bag and you've still got some games to play? They don't call them dead rubber for nothing. So it must be hard to motivate yourself for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say impossible, but of course it's not impossible, because it has been proven over the years that some teams have managed to carry on as if nothing had happened. But it's everything, Trev. It's from the moment you get up in the morning, when there's no jeopardy in it. It is a kind of different approach, isn't it? When you're in the moment, in that moment where you go, this is where it happens, yeah? This is where it's won or lost, now the next 10 games, 15 games, whatever, this is it now, isn't it? And that is part of your whole day then. And that's part of everything that you do. And you would even say things to your teammates that you normally wouldn't say, hey, come on, like Steve Nicol Friday night, 2 pints of Coke and 6 packs of crisps, you'd go, Nicol, just have 1 Coke and 2 packets of crisps, we've got a big game tomorrow, So it's kind of in every minute of every day, isn't it? Before the games, you're walking around, you're shaking people's heads, and you're going, come on, this is it today, isn't it? The whole Liverpool will still go through the routine that they have, but it won't be with the sort of same concentration, and that same will, to win. It's just natural, isn't it? Because what happens if we lose? I'll tell you what happens. Nothing. And once you take that away, Trevor, things happen psychological.
They do, and it's very hard to argue against that. But I suppose what the big question I have for you is, when you think of lads like Mo Salah, and Mo has something, look, it doesn't get you any extra shininess in your league medal. It won't make the trophy any bigger. We could, whether we win another game between now and the end of the season. But I was quite invested in us getting 94 points. So losing to Chelsea pissed me off, because it's a standard, it's a mark, it's a, look, this is better than the vast majority. The next one is to get to 91 points. That would be great. It's putting you in the top bracket. These kind of little things matter to me. Maybe I'm a nerd. Maybe I should have my feet up. Maybe I should be on the beach. But I'm thinking someone like Mo Salah. Mo Salah is looking at a season where he could possibly score 30 and assist 20. And that would be quite the season. And it might be kind of unparalleled. I think it is. Those kind of things are going to drive people on. And if enough players are playing the team where there's something for them, maybe even individually, to achieve, whether it is someone like, I don't know, playing their way back into form, or Jota saying, please don't sell me, or Nunes saying, here's why you need me, Atletico. I don't know. These kind of factors might come into it a little bit, especially with Salah. You can imagine even people having slight motivation for Mo, because he seems to be a popular lad, to sort of get his numbers to where they need to be. I don't know. Does any of this factor into it, or is that all just sort of airy-fairy stuff, really? I mean, I don't know.
Airy-fairy. I listen, those things that you mentioned, and I look at those things, but I never used to look at them things when I was a player. I don't know what points we got, and I've got a pretty good memory. I don't know what points we landed on in various seasons. I know what positions we ended up in. My first season, second, the second season, I won it, then we were second, then we won it, then we were second, then we won it, then we were second, and then we finished eighth. You know what I mean? I know where we finished. I have no idea what points we got to. So yeah, Mo would love to finish with 30 and 20, but he's no longer chasing that with the same determination as he was. And I can't do anything about that, Trevor. That is human nature.
So on this one, I hold on to the prediction.
Trevor, Sunday, Arsenal, put your feet up and just chill. Yeah.
All right. I'll take your advice. But last one on this, and we'll come back for the prediction in a minute. But last one on this, because I've just seen Electric Dreams there in the chat, reckons he's got a ton on the Arsenal game, so the result really does matter to him. So fair play. I want you to factor that into your prediction at the end.
Okay.
Right. The last thing is just the shortest of questions for you, just to wrap things up. Is there anything left to achieve in these last games? You mentioned the Conor Bradley getting a few games and how that could be very valuable. Do you see anything else that is, and we just mentioned the Mo thing, which is, like you said, it's a minor in the greater scheme of things. But do you see anything really valuable that can be done between now and the end of the season in the 3 games that remain?
Not with the players that we know and the players that's been in and around the first team this season. I think it's been the easiest squad to read in terms of what the manager thinks of them. Club was very different. Yeah. Played players, and every time you ask him about a player, you go, oh, he's fantastic and whatever. You know exactly where Arne stands with these players, and nothing, believe me, Trevor, nothing will change that. So in terms of that, it isn't a case of Endo playing the next 3 games and being man of the match in all 3 of them, and all of a sudden Arne thinks different of him, because he won't. He's made his mind up. He sees these boys every day in training. So in terms of that, no, I don't think there's anything to be achieved in terms of that. And the Bradley thing, had he not been with Trent, it would have been different, wouldn't it? So we're kind of suggesting and pushing Bradley forward because of the Trent situation. So I think we've talked about this before, Trev, haven't we? That Arne likes to make one change, defense, midfield, or attack, but never 2 or 3. He did it against Plymouth. He did it again on Sunday, didn't he? And he's probably learned his lesson, hasn't he? Gone, I'm not going to do that again. Max 1 change per department, isn't it? So we're going to go strong Sunday. Yeah,
for the record, a lot of lads having a chat about that 1986 Denmark shirt. You've talked to me about that before. What a belter. What a belter it was.
And by the way, let me just tell you, Trevor, I couldn't believe it. So we're obviously aware of the shirt, yeah? We turn up at the World Cup training squad in Copenhagen. Everything is in the same design. All the training kit, all the leisure kit, shorts, T-shirts in all sorts of different colours, but the same design. And here's the best, Trevor. the bedding. We took all our own bedding to Mexico and to Colombia where we went in training camp. And it was all in the same design with your number on. It was unreal. And do you know what, Trevor? So we get knocked out by Spain. But by this time, we're like the darlings of the World Cup. You know what I mean? Dinamarca. Everybody wants to know. So we decided to stay one more day because we had our own flight. So we could decide. So we decided to stay one more day to have a day on the beer, you know, to celebrate. You know, it's the first time I ever went to a World Cup or whatever. And we ended up just giving it all away.
No.
Yeah, we're in Mexico City. So we moved into Mexico City. And we're just sitting there. And people are coming up, Dinamarca, all these Mexicans will think, do you know what? Go over this. You'd already packed your gear. Here you are. Here's a training gear. Here's my bedding, you know what I mean? And I look back and I go, what was I thinking?
Oh, man.
You know, honest to God, some of the lads, Trevor, left with their boots and the passport. Everything else just gave away. Because it was just so charming, all these Mexicans, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and a lot of them didn't have a lot at the time, you know what I mean? So like, and it was like Dinamarca, you know what I mean? It's like, there you are, you can have it.
I love it. I can't believe it.
I would have liked to have had that because, honest to God, Trevor, man, it was unreal.
I imagine the sheets and everything. That's amazing.
The bedding, Trevor. Honest to God, I couldn't wait. We went to Colombia and we checked in. We had a 5-bedroom apartment, and I shared a room with us. I couldn't wait to make my bed. You know, I couldn't make it. It was unreal. Look at this. This is unreal.
Magic.
Spend about 16 hours a day in it. I like to sleep.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Bespoke bedding. Nice. We'll finish, as always, with the question to you about the game that you've pretty much told us nobody's going to be that arsed about. So how do you see the one at the weekend gone?
Yeah, I don't know, Trevor. I mean, normally a game like that, you'd go something like 4-2 and whatever, but I think Arsenal not a team that necessarily concedes a lot of goals. And I just can't see Arsenal coming down and wanting to play 2 an open game. So I think it's going to be quite a tight game. So last week I went 2-2, didn't I? There was 4 goals, but it was 3-1. So I'm going to go 2-1. I think Liverpool will beat Arsenal 2-1.
We would all take that very happily. For yet another show, we thank Jan for his time and for all the insights and stories. It's always a pleasure, this show. Nice of you to join in the chats. If you're one of the hundreds watching live, nice to have you along as well. And if you're listening on the listen through afterwards, you're equally welcome. As ever, we try to do the best show we can for you. We've got another couple left before the end of the season, and we will enjoy what we can and have a celebratory atmosphere in them, because at the end of the day, the Reds are champions. Thanks to Jan. I'm Trev. Good luck.